Happy Sabbath, everyone. Happy Sabbath. Yes, happy Sabbath. All right, so last time I shared a sermon here. It was about the difference between other churches and our church. And I thought, too, that my next presentation is also going to be the differences and similarities of other churches. But mission trip happened, and I couldn't wait to share my mission trip with you guys. So I am going to present about my mission trip today. So the country I've been to is Honduras, and these are my members that we went together. Mostly my cohort and two professors, doctors and nurse practitioner from the local area, and the global missions from Advent Health Organization. I try not to, but it's going to be like storytelling. But I will sprinkle what I felt and what I noticed and what I experienced here and there. If you guys have any questions about my slides or anything, just shout it out, because I tend to forget a lot of things in my presentation. All right, so these are the things that I brought. The left one is what I ordered from Amazon. It's hydrocolloid and dressing, silver arsenate, just plain gauze, Arabins. And the middle one is socks. And socks, surprisingly, it was one of the most useful tools in the mission trip. If I go next time of a mission trip, I'm packing a whole box of socks. And then there are also things we brought, and then one of them is vitamins. Vitamins I didn't particularly buy for myself. It was through the Global Missions. Global Missions brought vitamins and donations from here and there, like teddy bear or things for children ministry. So those are the things that we packed, and that duffel bag is full of what we're going to give out, and every day that duffel bag travel with us. And that's because through your donations. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank you again for that. All right, let's go with from Orlando to Valle de Angeles, which is the city I was mainly staying. I'm going to briefly talk about what I saw in between here and there, and I'm going to go briefly about what was my first impression about the country. So we flew from Orlando airport, went to layered over in Panama City, went to Tegucigalpa, and took a bus all the way to Valle de Angeles. So this is the first sight from the airport. Normally airport is so-called the face of the location. So people spend a lot of money on airport. And as you can tell, this is the best presentation they could come up with. And there is very high security. We can just come over the hill and, take the plane. But that was from the airport, I could already tell, okay, so this is what's going to be like in this country. And these members in the bus, we took that bus, and have you noticed any similar character here? That's Korean. So what had happened was countries like Honduras, they buy cars and buses from overseas that are sentenced as they're done. Like here in the States or in Korea, when the vehicle reaches a certain point of level of impact to pollutions, they need to be totaled. But instead of getting totaled, people send their cars to countries like Honduras, and they modify it, and that's the vehicles that they use in their home country. So as we go on to the Valle de Angeles, we saw a lot of car shops, repair shops, auto shops. That's because their country is literally running by the vehicles that other countries dumped out. Okay? I mean, it uses really strong word there, but that's what I saw. All right, so on the way there, there's a little small so-called houses, it's the little resting area or restroom that the people on the right is going to rest, eat, go to restroom. So the people there, they don't really have a some of the people there doesn't really have the designated job. They don't really have a career. What they do is they're surviving daily. You know, they sell corn. They'll say tortillas. They sell pupusas on the street. So things on the street, and what they earn from that day will get them through tomorrow. Okay, so you're gonna see a lot of moms, dads carrying one baby on one hand, corn on the other side, and just going across the roads and try to sell the corns and stuff. And this is the capital of Honduras. It's called Tegucigalpa. It's a little bit about like a edge of the capital, but it's still capital. My first impression was, oh, this looks like 70s and 80s in Korea. I mean, I was never alive in 70s and 80s in Korea, but you saw the pictures of Korea in 70s and 80s, and that looked exactly like Honduras right now. A lot of little cubicle houses, a lot of pollution on the road. But it's funny because if you step like 3 steps outside of the main road, there's a whole like jungle, like primitive forest, and like just the field that man never seemed to touch even a single bit. That was Honduras. And you notice something really little weird on the far right picture? Your right, not my right. There's no pedestrian light in crosswalk. And I've never seen one in Honduras. So this is, part of Tegucigalpa where I took a picture of. All right. So one in the left, the picture on the left, it's called. Some people call it tuk tuk. Some people call it tranquilo. It's a triangular motorcycle that it's like a taxi there. The gas price is way expensive than here. Gas price is similar to Korea or LA. Also, the land prices are as expensive as the States, even though their incomes are way lower. Anyway, so that's like the default taxi there. And the one on the right, have you noticed something really off? First one saves gets 10 points. There's no license plate. No license plate, but that's illegal there. I asked the locals, wait, I've seen a lot of cars with no license plate. Is that even legal? And they're like, it's illegal, but nobody cares because it's expensive to get a license plate. And the officers there are like, whatever gets you through, will get you through. If you can't buy a license plate, I'll just let it go because their family, their friends also is going through that level of financial difficulties. So nobody is actually like stopping the cars and like, hey, you got no license plate. No, nobody's doing it. Puma. We only thought Puma makes clothes and shoes and athletic stuff, but they sell oils in Honduras. It's a different Puma company, but I thought it was funny. Picture on the right. Only want to say out loud the uniqueness of that right picture. 10 points for you too. Well, the right answer is both direction is going in the same direction. Does that make sense? The incoming lanes and going forward lanes all going forward, right? So what happened was there was a protest going on, just blocking the whole road. That's why people are just jumping over the little grass bush area and try to get to the airport. Let me tell you about the situation there in political wise and government wise. Their former president is now in the States going through trials of drug dealing. he isn't the drug lord, but he is. I think his former president's brother-in-law was a drug lord, and then the pastor was not pastor. Sorry, pastor. The president was exporting the goods through the diplomatic. I forgot the word. Anyway, the president made it easier for the drug lord to export the drugs there, and they got caught by the DEA, so he's now going to trials in New York, right? And then the coup happened last year, so now normally when the president has to resign, they need to go through another election in a democratic country. But the current president never went through election. She just took it over. And she is also a wife of former president, which was taken down due to doing some illegal stuff. So notice, like, just picture about like how unstable their government is, how unstable their politics is. And one of the things that impacting the healthcare workers right now is when you go to medical school, when you go to healthcare just corporation and your working place, they will ask you which political party do you support, and if you give them wrong answer, you won't graduate, you won't be able to work, and all the times that you spend on studying, your grind will go to zero. That's the government right now. So a lot of people protest on the road, and they're very smart. They blocked a very important road that it shouldn't be blocked. That's why we took a really big detour when we was going back to the States. That's the picture I took on the way back to the States. And in that protest, 6 of the officers were injured on that protest, and it happens on daily basis. And what they're asking, the protesters are asking, it's not about like making this whole planet vegan. They're not going for those. It's more like, hey, you promised the well in my town. You haven't done it for 5 years. Please fix my road. My cows can come over it. Those are the things that they're protesting for. So, it's very basic, but the government is not listening to them, and that's their reality. And I'm gonna go over some pictures I took from the airport to where I'm staying. I stayed in Valjeanheli, which is like the town or city on top of the mountain. So I was sitting in a very high altitude, and I'm gonna go over really quickly, but I just want to have a picture about what their nature looks like. Okay, and this is my iPhone 14 working. There's no Photoshop, not even a Lightroom. It's just pure default setting. A lot of fields of what's my sugar canes, corns, another sugar cane. That's the river that we have to go across most every single time or go to the mission field. And you're going to see a lot of statues here and there. And it's not because they're rich to just make a random statue in the middle of the road. That's just for the government there to get exempt from the tax. So just random place. You're gonna see a random statue, and that's not because for the people. It's for the one person who is trying to get the taxation exempt. A lot of wall painting or murals. Oh, so that person, bus driver, he is the best driver in the world. I don't know if you think yourself as the best driver in the world. I'll think again, because if he's still breathing, you are the second. He drove around the giant yellow school bus truck up at top in the mountain, and he made things impossible to possibles. If I didn't have my own religion, I almost believed in him. And the right below, the right down picture, that's the picture I call most Honduras ever. A lot of wall painting on that one wall, and you see 2 stray dogs just chilling there. There are a lot of just street dogs. Street dogs are just everywhere. And the donkey is parked parked on the pole there, at which the donkey can just easily pull it out and go, but donkey won't do it. And there's a tranquilo there on the road. and with the car with no license plate, that's like the typical default of the Honduras. A lot of houses are built on the cliff. Like I said, their land is as expensive as in the States. So what they do is they buy a little like cubicle area on the cliff, because it's literally a cliff. Like you can't really build a house there, but I mean I guess you can. So they put a pillar there at the back row, and they put on they level the surface, and then they build a house there, right? But when the the cost to build a house fluctuate a lot as their government is unstable. So you're gonna see, if you go to Honduras, you're gonna see a lot of the houses in the middle of building, but it's been stopped for like more than a year because they couldn't afford to build higher than, I don't know, the waist level or shoulder level. So what they do is just they leave that as undone, and they just build it on top of it as they get more money, and then so like it would take like 3 months here with the budget you have, but there like several years because you earn yearly budget, you put it here, one layer of brick, another year, one layer of brick. And also this country, it's number 2 in Chaga virus. Any healthcare field workers who want to know what the Chaga virus is and what their number 1 risk factor? Shine? Chaga virus happens when you build a house out of mud. When you build a house out of dirt, the bugs there come out during the nighttime, and they bite you, and then that's how you get Chaga virus. Number 1 is Bolivia. Number 2 is Honduras. They couldn't afford stuccos there, so when they build a house, they just put up a mud igloo, and then they live there. And at nighttime, the bugs crawl out, bite human, and then that's how they spread Chaga virus. A lot of wildfire. Wildfire. What's the first thing you notice in the States when you get a wildfire? You get an Apple notification like warning, right? Here, wildfires are so common, people don't really care about it. And I asked the locals, like, hey, wildfire, isn't it dangerous? It's like, yeah, it is dangerous, but you're not going to do anything about it. It's like, it happens a lot, and nobody's going to come, and, it just loss is loss, and you got to move on. That's the life right now. All right, that's I think the most default meal in Honduras. Corn tortillas, refried beans, plantains, eggs, thank you, cheese, right? It's very high calorie, and also lactose intolerant. But somehow my digestive system loved it. I think it's mainly because their ingredients are so pure, and the strongest spice you're gonna find in Honduras, it's salt, I think. So it's very bland, but it was good, and that's what people eat there to get through the day. A lot of refried beans. So in the refried bean, dipping chips in salsa, it's I think it was like whole like Central and South American thing, but they say it's more of a like island people thing. They don't really do salsa with tomatoes. I'm seeing Eric just like nodding real quick. Yeah. Everything is refried beans. Yeah, everything is refried beans. And they put cheese on it to make it more luxury, and it's very high calorie, and it's very, high in lactose. But somehow my cat loved it too. And that fruit is called benet, or some people call it in other words, but I call it benet. That fruit's so sweet. One bite will suck the whole moistureness in your mouth. Like one bite, it's gonna take away all the hydrogen in your mouth. And notice how what they're eating in daily life. The benet, high calorie fried beans, corn tortillas. They are very prone to those food causes diabetes a lot. So a lot of people there that are people that I saw has diabetes. Diabetes is like very common there, and then people walking around with slides. In my statistics, in my calculation, I saw 3 out of 10 people with slides. If I saw their toe, at least one toe was missing, because that's how diabetes is very common in there. Another food that I ate, I don't really like pupusas, but after Honduras, I still don't like pupusas. But their pupusas is a little different. That's what. So I guess when people are saying like, oh, you gotta eat the pupusas in my way, you gotta eat the pupusas in Honduras. It's like, okay, so this is why why they say, oh, you gotta eat the pupusas in Honduras way. Their pupusas are on the point. This is a place I stayed. It's San Jose Hotel. Thankfully, we were residing in the very nice hotel. It wasn't like other mission trips I've been to. Some of the mission trips I've been to, like I went to sleep in the hammock under the banana tree, but it wasn't the case this time. So I was really blessed this time. All right, let's get into the actual mission field, what I did in the mission field. So first place we went to is Bartolo. I'm not sure if you can play this here, but the guy wearing in a blue shirt, he is the like a leader of the town, right? And last year we went to Honduras. Not we, another group of people went to Honduras for a mission trip, and he couldn't only bring like 150 patients on that day, and he felt so bad. So on that day he brought like 300 something patients, and then it was so heartwarming to because he couldn't offer anything else. So what he offered is a song. I'm not sure if I can. Oh yeah. So it's like a 5-minute long video, so for the sake of time I'll cut it. But they sang one song which they learned in school. So all the mission field we went to, the buildings we use is the school that are currently open or school that's closed due to there's no teachers there. And one of the songs they sang was the song they learned in school before the school got closed. And other song was I think it was a hymnal. They're not Christian, but they search the hymnal on the internet and then they practice this just so they can give back to us as a gratitude of them. The picture on the left is the picture from the last year, and we went to the same place. And then the picture on the right is the what I took the picture of when I was there. So that's the same place we went to. And then, even though, we weren't able to do much there, as a physical therapy, there's some limitations, and I will address more later on the slide. But it was very thankful, and it was through the grace that we have our own place, and we have a mat there, we have a massage chair, like that's all through the donations, and that's all through someone else's warm heart, and I just wanted to point that out in this slide. Dentistry, not very sanitized with the street dogs in the office, but it's the best we could provide. And the dogs, they're not very aggressive there. They don't understand seats, like or siéntate, since you're in a Spanish-speaking country. But those 3 dogs, like just wanted to kidnap a few of them and just take it to the States. Anyway, yeah. And a lot of people showed up for the mission trips, to get the clinics. And to them, we are the best doctor in the world because they have the universal health care. but they don't get universal health care, if you know what I mean. You know. Also, for physical therapy, you need to get a doctor's note there. And as I mentioned, the healthcare field is very unstable due to politics. You know? So you slip out one word wrong, then there's no universal health care. It's not me speaking, it's the local there. It's a missionary that's living there talking to us that told us that, you know, politics is hugely involved. They have a universal health care. Not everyone is getting the benefits of health care. Kids come to help. You know, these kids are so cute. Like, and in one of the day, there are two kids. They are so-called the king of the street. So they rule the street. So we need to get their permission to do the mission work there. And it was kind of really cute. And they're always open to help you. And we don't. There's a language barrier, and sometimes we even have to like just use the body language to communicate with them. But no, as soon as the truck came here, the first people who went out to help, that's not us. It was little kids. And they're like, it means, let me get the chair, I'll deliver it to somewhere else you want to. Just this. And I thought it was really heartwarming, and it was really cute. Like I said, toes are very luxury thing to have there since diabetes. And the picture on the right, I took someone in our group took a picture of her, and I was able to talk to her when I was taking a break. And next week, she's going to Tegucigalpa to work, and she's only like 12, 11. People there start their adult life in a very early age. You know? Once you are able to think on your own, you are now the worker. You know, the parents there are not able to help them out, or support them through college like we do here. I mean, some of the people don't get support, but still, like things we take it for granted here, or even me. But to them, that's like their dream. Just wanted to point that out. Another area that we went to is Ocote. A lot of sugarcane trucks that we faced. This is also the closed school, and people showed up lining up, and the other side is a cliff, so it was a very like scenic view type of church, not church, school. Kid on the left, very cute, right? Yeah, I made him smile for the picture. Those are stickers I gave out to him. So it was like, hey, you got so many stickers. I only wanted to give out 4 per person, and you got like 10. So you better smile for my picture. So that's why he smiled. For the children ministry there, I'm gonna talk about like the stigma there. Even though we went there and we advertised like, hey, we are the doctors from the States, we are the healthcare workers from the States. If you're sick, come to us. Let us give you medication. Let us give you treatment. Not many people show up because there's stigma in population. Women show up, a lot of women, but men, it's either they want to come through the back door or they show up at the very last minute, because they don't want people to see them as a sick person. Because if you are tagged as a sick person, nobody is going to give you a job. Nobody is going to give something to work on. If you show up to our clinic like this, just bye-bye to the food, just bye-bye to the shoes, bye-bye to the socks that you can afford for your children. So not many people show up. Not many male patients show up. But the male patients show up for their children, but they don't get the treatments, right? So one of the strategy we use is let's invite the children first, because if you invite the children, their parents will come just to bring their children, just to walk with them, because there's mountains and snakes everywhere, so they bring their children with them if the children wants to come, but they're not going to come just for their own health. So this is something called Piñata, right? Yeah. So we did a lot of those. We gave a lot of like stickers and color books to children, and then when the children comes, that's when their parents come and took care of their health. Beautiful lady. She was able to tell me the whole story of her life. That's like another whole big giant chunk of sermon I can present about her life. And person on the right, I think in my short understanding, I think he is either son or he's a nephew of the principal or president of that school, the closed school. So what's going on in Honduras is there are schools, a lot of children, but there's no teacher there. No teacher, so no one is there to give them basic education, you know. And people who doesn't go through basic education will stay in poverty, and it just keep never-ending cycle. And so Honduras is one of the country, even along the other mission fields I've been to, Honduras is the poorest country that I've been to. Every time I went to mission trip, I have to modify the standard, lower the bar of the standard of the poverty. Like Honduras, like way down there, because there's no way I can think of that they can get out of the poverty by themselves. They are in desperate help. Like, and even I'm not telling you to just give up everything here and just go to Honduras and become a teacher, but what we can do is going to make their life in a huge difference. Sometimes it could be little small things. Sometimes it could be just like huge dedication. We have a missionary living in Honduras for 12 consecutive years because she couldn't find her successor. Also, she is doing a lot of work there, and she's making their life changes in their lives, and it's just. And she said, even small little things that you thought it's not going to be that helpful, it's going to change their life, because just, I don't know, one little simple message to them about like just talking English, because they have no teacher there. And the number one way to get rid of the poverty is go to bilingual school, learn English, and then go to English-speaking country, and then get the income of the English-speaking country's income. That's their number one way of getting out of the country. And a lot of healthcare workers too go to the bilingual schools, and they are either planning on living out, just living to other country, or think about something else. A lot of dental work. A lot of babies cry a lot. I don't know. It's something about dental tool. They just see the tools and just start crying, and it's like a faucet that never stops. And the second picture, I actually got permission from him, if I can talk about him. So he had a fracture in his forearm, and he went through a surgery. It was lucky for him to get a surgery in January through Universal Healthcare. But when we went there at the end of the April, or at the end of the April, he still had his suture on his forearm, because first, diabetes, it wasn't healing. Second, it doesn't make much money for the hospital to take out just a suture. So he's getting pushed back and back and back. And he also lives in a rural area where he has to make like day dedication to go out to Tegucigalpa and get the suture taken out. A day vacation here in the States, it's just a day vacation. Day vacation there, it's like day of no food. So even just taking a day off to get the suture taken out, it's a big step for them. Person on the very right, he's a farmer. He's a very nice gentleman. Notice what he's wearing for his foot or feet. Hospital socks from several mission trips years ago. And he has only one sock. So notice the previous slides I mentioned about the socks. Yes, people there are either not really educated about the personal hygiene. Second, don't have money to afford personal hygiene. So this gentleman put on his favorite sock, his only sock, to keep his dignity to come to the doctors. doctors that are so-called the best doctors in the world. And I thought it was very heartwarming. He came to us in a physical therapy booth, and I talked to him after the session, and he is like 70 something years old, and then he's still keep grinding. 70 something years old here is maybe past retirement, past the limit of your time, and it's time to rest. And he's still grinding out there, just so that he can provide something for his family. Picture there. This location, I didn't go to this location called La Jolla. It's not La Jolla, San Diego. It's La Jolla, Honduras. I didn't go there because I was in somewhere else. I was in the Tegucigalpa for the physical therapy clinic there, and I'll briefly talk about it. A few of the really important faces here. People in the left top corner, they are the missionaries living 12 consecutive years there. Joel and Jessica. I think her name was Jessica. So she was in Honduras for the first year, for like 1 or 2 year. And then she went to Australia as another mission work. And she went back to the States, and she was like, you know what? People in Honduras really need help. She'd been to several countries, and she came back to Honduras because she felt the deep need of help in Honduras. And that's her husband. He graduated from Loma Linda and Southern Adventist University, and then he's now the I forgot the role that he was having. But even though you have a medical degree in the States, you can't just go there and become like, I'm a doctor, let me fix people. There's a there's supposed to be a transition of license, and as a foreigner, you can only get like 90 days of like little permit of a medical license, and then you have to renew it every time, and the renewing process can take like several months to years. So those are the things that they told me as like the hardships as a missionary there. And person on the right, Reno. I'm really bad with names. I'm sorry if you are hearing this through the camera. He is a doctor from Tampa, and what he does is that he is the team leader of his own team, where he consult with medical professionals about how things are going well. And how things are going well could be how things are going well in the mission field. So he travels a lot, like this trip, Honduras, and 3 days later he goes to Ecuador for another mission trip. And then one of the testimony he shared during one of the nights was heartwarming, because he said, I do mission trips for my own sake. I do mission trips because it feels good. I do mission trip because it makes me feel like I'm alive. But I hesitate to think through the way that I'm doing this for the people here. And then he said Honduras is one of the places that changed his mind, that it's not him, it's the people there. And this is the PT clinic in Tegucigalpa. It's a very nice clinic. They have everything. The difference between the physical therapy here and there, I'm going to talk really briefly about it, because I've only seen one physical therapist here in this Julia. So I'm going to go really quick about this. Their best intervention is modalities. Ultrasound, like whirlpools, magnetics, E-stems, that's their number one go-to. And it's not like their services interventions are bad. But here, after several years of evidence studying, we kind of moved on from modalities, because some evidence not match well, and we couldn't really provide the reasons behind like modalities. Like ultrasound, we don't really know how it works, but it works, so we do it. And as a physical therapy, we're not a exercise therapist. We give out exercise because it's one of the greatest intervention to give, and it has very low chance of risk factors. That's why we give exercise as an intervention. But when I try to give exercise to them, where the modality is a majority of the intervention, people don't think that we are treating them with the good heart. So it was one of the dilemma that I first faced as a first mission trip as a physical therapist, and it's also made me think that what I think is the best for them might not be the best thing to actually give to them, because even though modalities, we moved on from it because we rank it as a lower interventions. But if they want the intervention, if they want those interventions, if they think it's the best to get them, no matter how many patient education we give out, one simple ultrasound will speak louder than 10 exercise sessions. So you made me think in a way that sometimes when we, in our daily life, we give out what we think is best to our friends, to our family, to our parents. Even, especially the ones that we love most, we give out what we think is the best. But sometimes it may not be the best to give out to them. And that made me, kind of just sit down and had to think about it. That's the hospital, the Adventist hospital there. It's really pretty nice. It kind of looks like a little supermarket on the outside, but it's constantly getting remodeled. And then the little, or not so little, the doorway on the far right picture, I don't know what to call it, like a pillar, I guess. Yeah, that was built through donations. Before then, they didn't have any name on the road. So whoever knows comes, but whoever doesn't know just wouldn't come. This is the physical therapy office in the Adventist building. It's quite nice. And then one interesting in the setting there is that when we think of AccuCare, when we think about people staying in the AccuCare, we think of mostly just post right after surgery, or people who needs constant monitoring, right? Most of the residents there is a hospice care. In an acute setting, if you're sick for multiple days, that also means multiple days of no income. So people don't really try to stay longer. The only people who stay there longer is hospice patients who were lucky enough to go through universal health care. And this is the building that's back up the actual hospital. It's constantly getting remote. That's another PT building. So the bottom floor, that's gonna be like a sauna type of intervention room, and then the second floor will be the actual room that we're doing the interventions and stuff. All right, cell bath. I'm gonna go very quick. That's a chart that we went to, and top left picture, there's a former president of the hospital, and then the current president of the hospital. So we went to this town of Valle de Angeles. That's the left two pictures is how the street looked like. It's the downtown there, and then the far right picture is their very privatized restroom. People can just go over and mind their business together. I thought this was funny. So I guess they had never seen a tiger before, so that's their tiger. And then their advertisement about chickens was funny, so I just took a picture of it. But I'll go real quick. A lot of flowers, rabbits. Every important location there's cathedral. Every landmark there's cathedral, and it's all built in all white. And if you go inside of them, it's actually filled with expensive stuff, golds and stuff. And what they do is even though with the low income, they want to have some divine power they want to hold on to. And since Catholic was big back in the days, they tend to have the tradition of going to the cathedral and give out all they have, so their children and their kids, their grandchildren, their family can have a better life. And I just thought that maybe, anyway, I'm not gonna say it. The best way to kick the cows out of the road? if you do it in the Honduras way, and if you're the bus driver, you bump your bus gently to the cow, and if the cows are smart enough, the cows will go on the side of the road. It happened multiple times. And some cows are dumb, some cows are really smart. So in the left picture, I guess there are a couple. One cow was just sitting in the middle of the road, and honking wasn't working, and the bump wasn't working. So the cow on the right side came to take his friend, and then they went together. Some people come to clinic in motorcycles, some people come in horses, some people come in bus, some people walk, and that's how we did the clinic. Like I said on the right picture, I was giving an exercise intervention, but you can actually tell her eyes are just glazed off. She's not interested anymore because I was giving exercises to them. Exercise, to them, that means not so much of a great intervention. Another closed school place. Oh, those are the two kings of the street that I need to get a permission from him to actually get the mission for. Soccer is a lot. One of the few male patients that comes in, I think the majority of them was either low back pain, and then the injury that I got from soccer. And it was really interesting to see because I'm not sure if I can see. It's the soccer field right next to the cliff. So if you kick it hard, well, good luck playing soccer because you're done for the day. And that was really interesting. But they're really enthusiastic about soccer. So if you talk about soccer, you can just have like, I don't know, lifelong friendship with any male there. And soccer is like really a big thing. Another cathedral on a very beautiful landmark. And it was, in the picture, the shiny things, they're all gold. And with the income they have, that's like more than a lot. That's more than they should, give out. That's a default house in some of the villages I've been to. If you think that's like a house that's almost getting taken down, wrong, because that's one of the most fanciest house in that village. Oh, the person on the left, he is a truck driver, and I just wanted to point out how humble he is. Like, he is always smiling. And I think he's the best example of what we can give out, the small things we can give out. Even though he is in a country where he is, and also he's not even an Adventist, right? And he was just there as a hired truck driver, and he's always down to help, and he was always smiling. He was always just being there, just being the presence. And I think that's what we can do in this community. I'm gonna also point out, like, in the church, we're doing the digital evangelism right now. And sometimes we think like what we can give out to this church is like some big things. And when we think of big things, we tend to hesitate because we have to get out of our own comfort zone and we have to go like a mile step more to do more things. But just like him, even when he is at work, just being smiling, just being down to work, just at the church, digital evangelism, we don't really have to go a mile step to be involved. It's just one simple text, just one simple prayer, and that could change the life of the people who are requesting the prayers to our church. So when I was thinking of him, I was thinking of our church and what we can do in our daily life. Because if I want to be a missionary tomorrow, I should be a missionary today. And there's more than one thing we can do as a missionary today. And that was our last night before we leave, and that's our whole group of our mission field. Just one more minute about to wrap up the whole mission trip. Honduras is lower than my expectation of how poor the country can be. Smartphones, everyone has smartphones here in the States, but smartphones there is like one in one town. It's very frustrating, and it's very like sad to see a lot of people who didn't go through proper education about personal hygiene, diet. Just one simple thing could prevent their autonomic amputation. Their toes fall off, Just one simple thing could change your life. And the one simple thing, you don't have to go to mission field to do it. One simple thing, you can do it here. One simple thing, you can do it today. One simple thing, you can do it tomorrow. And I think as a church, what we can do today is just to send out message, just to respond to whoever just requests a prayer, you know. And those things could actually change our life, because when we do God's work, we are getting slowly transformed like Jesus. Because we're Christians, we are to be like Christ, you know? And when we practice to be like Christ, we'll feel the change in our heart. And then when we do the God's work, whoever is receiving it will also have a huge change in their life. Yesterday in the Vesper, we were talking about, like, since you freely received, you should freely give out. It doesn't mean we should give out our whole life, you know. You can give our whole life to Jesus, and in small steps, and you go from small steps to big steps. But what I want to say is, today, when we say let's give our life to Jesus, it's not like your whole life. Just simple things. Just try to do what He did to us as a return of what we freely received. The knowledge you have, the cars, the food, the time. When we think of time, it's like, oh, I'm using my time to do this for them. No, your time was given by God, and you're simply just returning to our community, to our church members, to local community. And that's what I wanted to point out through the mission trip. I learned a lot. I had my personal change in terms of, like, what's the difference between physical therapy, difference of mission work, difference in healthcare. But I'm sure you also felt something different throughout my presentation. And if you think that little voice in your mind is talking to you today, you know, we could do like small little things. Just saying hi to our first-time visitors, you know, just reaching out to our digital evangelism, just reaching out to our church member who hasn't come to our church for a long time. And that's it.